Amina and Kalu's story began in the bustling town of Iraqo, a place where the market's vibrant colors and rich aromas mirrored the hopes and dreams of its people. From the moment they met, their connection was undeniable, a spark that grew into a deep, unwavering love. Both came from modest backgrounds, but their hearts were rich with ambition and promise. Amina, known for her gentle spirit and unwavering determination, dreamed of a future where she and Kalu would build a life filled with joy and prosperity. Kalu, handsome and charming, was equally hopeful, promising Amina that together they would overcome any obstacle. Their courtship was the talk of the town. At the weekly market gatherings where traders sold everything from spices to woven fabrics, Amina and Kalu could be seen walking hand in hand, their laughter weaving through the bustling crowd. Amina's mother, Mama Saad, often watched the couple with a knowing smile, blessing their union quietly in her heart. Kalu's father, Baba Chaik, a respected blacksmith, nodded approvingly whenever he saw his son with Amina, sensing the genuine affection they shared. Life in Iraqo was not without its challenges, but Amina and Kalu faced them with hope. They saved what little they could, dreaming of the day they would marry and start a family. Amina worked as an apprentice to a local tailor, learning the delicate art of stitching vibrant Ankara fabrics into beautiful garments, while Kalu helped his father in the blacksmith's workshop, mastering the craft of shaping iron with fire and hammer. Their days were long and filled with hard work, but their evenings were made sweeter by whispered plans beneath the starlit sky. Yet, beneath the surface of their love story, a shadow of greed began to creep in, one that would soon shatter the fragile peace they had built. Kalu, despite his love for Amina, was drawn by the allure of wealth and status that seemed just beyond his reach. When the opportunity arose to marry the daughter of a wealthy merchant from a neighboring town, Kalu's resolve wavered. The merchant's family promised a life of luxury and comfort, a stark contrast to the modest existence he shared with Amina. The day Kalu made his choice, the town of Iraqo seemed to hold its breath. Amina, unaware of the storm brewing in Kalu's heart, went about her chores with the usual grace and warmth. But news travels fast in small towns, and whispers soon reached her ears. Kalu was to marry another. The weight of betrayal settled on her like a heavy fog, clouding the bright future she had envisioned. When Kalu finally confessed, his words were cold and distant, lacking the tenderness they once shared. "Amina," he said, avoiding her eyes, "I have made a decision. I am to marry the merchant's daughter. It is a chance I cannot refuse." His voice held no apology, only the finality of a man who had chosen wealth over love. Amina's world crumbled in that moment. The dreams they had built together reduced to dust. Despite the heartache, Amina's spirit did not break. She stood tall in the face of Kalu's betrayal, refusing to let despair consume her. The town watched as she wiped away her tears and gathered her strength, a quiet determination shining in her eyes. Mama Saad, though devastated for her daughter, offered words of comfort and encouragement, reminding Amina that her worth was not defined by a man's choices. In the days that followed, Amina faced the painful reality of being left alone, her heart heavy but her resolve unshaken. The market, once a place of shared laughter and promises, now echoed with the silence of lost dreams. Yet within that silence a new fire was kindled, a fire fueled by the desire to prove her own strength and to carve out a life on her own terms. Kalu, on the other hand, reveled in his newfound status, oblivious to the strength he had underestimated. His marriage to the merchant's daughter brought him wealth, but it also sowed the seeds of regret and loneliness. The man who once dreamed of a future with Amina now found himself entangled in a life that felt hollow, the weight of his choices pressing down on him. Back in Iraqo, Amina began to chart a new path. She spent her days learning from market vendors, observing the intricate dance of commerce and trade. But rather than dwell on loss, she chose to channel her emotions into purpose. When the market quieted in the evenings, Amina would sit by the fire outside her small hut, stitching scraps of fabric into small pouches and bags. These she would fill with the spices and herbs she had learned to trade, preparing for the day when she could sell her own goods. The community, once sympathetic but distant, began to notice Amina's transformation. Her resilience became a quiet inspiration. Women who had faced similar hardships saw in her a reflection of their own struggles and a beacon of hope. Children who played near the market stalls watched as she moved with a newfound confidence, her eyes shining with determination. Even the vendors who had once pitied her now sought her out, offering advice and encouragement. Amina's mother, Mama Saad, remained a steadfast pillar of support. Though her heart ached for her daughter's pain, she marveled at Amina's strength. "My child," Mama Saad would say softly, "the road is long, but your spirit is longer still. Keep walking, and the path will reveal itself." These words became a mantra for Amina, a reminder that her journey was not one she walked alone. With each passing day, Amina's skills grew sharper, and her savings increased. She reinvested every coin into small purchases: bags of grain, bundles of fresh vegetables, and containers of fragrant spices. She learned how to balance her modest accounts, tracking every expense and profit with meticulous care. The market, once a place of uncertainty, now felt like a realm of opportunity. Despite the slow progress, Amina remained patient. She understood that rebuilding a life was a process, not a race. The wounds of betrayal may have been deep, but they were not insurmountable. Her vision extended beyond mere survival. She dreamed of a future where she could stand proud, independent, and self-sufficient. In the evenings, when the market fell silent and the stars blanketed the sky, Amina would reflect on her journey. The pain of Kalu's abandonment still lingered, but it no longer defined her. Instead, it was a chapter that had taught her the value of resilience and the strength found in self-reliance. Her heart, once broken, was mending with each act of courage and every lesson learned. The town of Irako began to whisper of Amina's transformation. Where once there was sorrow, now there was hope. Traders who had once dismissed her now sought her out for advice and companionship. Young girls saw in her a role model, proof that adversity could be overcome with determination and hard work. Amina herself felt a growing sense of empowerment. She was no longer the girl waiting for a love that had turned cold. She was becoming a woman who shaped her own destiny. The market, with its lively chaos and endless possibility, had become her proving ground. Though the road ahead was uncertain, Amina faced it with courage. Each small victory, be it a successful sale or a kind word from a fellow trader, was a brick laid in the foundation of her new life. She was building more than just a livelihood. She was crafting a legacy of strength and perseverance. In the heart of Irako, amid the vibrant colors and rich scents of the market, Amina's story was no longer one of heartbreak alone. It was a story of rebirth, a testament to the power of resilience and the indomitable spirit of a woman determined to rise above her circumstances. With every dawn, she stepped closer to the future she had always dreamed of, a future forged by her own hands and guided by an unyielding will to succeed. Kalu's world gleamed with the promise of wealth as he basked in the comforts his marriage to the merchant's daughter had brought. The grand house, the fine clothes, and the lavish feasts were all symbols of a life he once only dreamed of. Yet, beneath the surface of his newfound luxury, lay a complacency born of underestimating the woman he had left behind. While he reveled in material riches, he remained blind to the quiet storm brewing in Irako, a storm in the form of Amina's unyielding spirit and determination. Back in the town that had once been the backdrop of their shared dreams, Amina had taken a crucial step toward reclaiming her future. With the small savings she had painstakingly gathered from her market ventures and odd jobs, she invested in a modest piece of land on the outskirts of Irako. The patch of earth was rugged and untamed, a far cry from the fertile fields she envisioned cultivating, but it was hers. This land was more than soil and stone. It was a symbol of new beginnings and the foundation of something meaningful. Amina approached her new venture with the same resolve that had carried her through days of hardship. She rose early each morning, the sun still shy behind the horizon, and worked the land with hands calloused but gentle. She planted seeds of maize and vegetables, tending to them with care and patience. The community watched in awe as the once broken girl transformed into a diligent farmer, her presence on the land a testament to resilience. But Amina's ambitions extended beyond farming. Inspired by the skills she had acquired in the market, she began crafting goods from the raw materials she gathered. Using the vibrant fabrics she had learned to sew, she made bags and garments to sell alongside her harvest. Each item was a labor of love, stitched with the hope of a better life and the determination to succeed on her own terms. Word spread quickly through Irako of Amina's growing enterprise. What had started as a small patch of land and a humble collection of goods blossomed into a thriving business. Locals came to her not only for fresh produce and handmade crafts, but also for guidance and support. Women who had faced similar struggles sought her out, eager to learn from her example and find their own paths to independence. Amina's reputation as a wise and generous leader grew alongside her business. She was known for fair prices and a warm smile, but also for her unwavering integrity and the way she lifted others as she climbed. She began employing local women, offering them a chance to earn their own income and build confidence. The once quiet market square now echoed with the sounds of bustling activity, much of it sparked by Amina's vision. Meanwhile, Kalu's life of privilege began to reveal its hollowness. The merchant's daughter, with her sharp tongue and high expectations, grew increasingly distant. The wealth that had drawn Kalu in now felt like a gilded cage, trapping him in a life that lacked the warmth and authenticity he had once known. Though he maintained his status, whispers of his restlessness reached the ears of those in Irako. Despite his outward success, Kalu remained oblivious to the transformation Amina had undergone. He had written her off as a broken woman, defeated by his betrayal. But the truth, as he would soon discover, was far from his assumptions. Amina's strength had flourished in his absence, her life a testament to the power of resilience and self-belief. As seasons changed and crops yielded their bounty, Amina's small venture continued to grow. She reinvested her profits wisely, expanding her land and diversifying her products. Her influence in the community deepened, not through wealth alone, but through the respect and affection she earned. She became a symbol of hope for those who had been cast aside, proof that with determination, a new future was possible. The town of Irako itself began to shift, its economy and spirit revitalized by Amina's enterprise. Market days were livelier, and the once dim prospects for many had brightened. The women she employed found not just work, but purpose and dignity. Children who had witnessed her rise saw the value of perseverance and the rewards of hard work. Meanwhile, Kalu's visits to Irako became less frequent, his pride wounded by the whispers of Amina's success. When he did come, he found a town transformed, with a woman he barely recognized standing at its heart. The girl he had left behind was now a leader, her eyes shining with the fire of accomplishment. The empire she had built was far greater than anything he had imagined, and with it came a power that unsettled him deeply. For Amina, the journey was far from over, but the foundation she had laid was strong. The pain of betrayal had been transmuted into a force that nurtured growth and opportunity. Each day was a step toward a future she had crafted with her own hands, a future that no one could take from her. In the quiet moments as she surveyed her land or counted the day's earnings, Amina allowed herself a small smile. The path had been hard, the obstacles many, but her spirit remained unbroken. The seeds she had planted, both in the earth and in the hearts of her community, were beginning to bear fruit. And in that, she found a strength that no wealth or status could ever match. Amina's humble beginnings had blossomed into something much greater than she had ever imagined. The small piece of land she had purchased on the outskirts of Irako was no longer just a patch of earth. It had become the heart of a thriving enterprise that was breathing new life into the community. The crops she tended yielded bountiful harvests, and the goods she crafted, woven bags, handcrafted garments, and fresh produce, were sought after far beyond the boundaries of her town. Her business expanded steadily, and with each passing season, Amina's influence grew stronger. She employed local women, many of whom had faced their own hardships, offering them not only a source of income but a chance to reclaim their dignity and purpose. These women, once marginalized and voiceless, found in Amina a leader who understood their struggles and championed their potential. Together, they worked the land, prepared goods, and sold their wares in the market, creating a sisterhood bound by resilience and hope. The transformation was remarkable. Where there had once been despair, there was now a vibrant community pulsing with renewed energy. The marketplace became a hub of activity, filled with laughter, bargaining, and the rich aromas of spices and freshly harvested crops. Amina's name was spoken with respect and admiration. She was no longer just the woman who had been abandoned. She was a symbol of strength and empowerment. Amina's leadership extended beyond her business. She organized gatherings where women shared their stories and skills, fostering an environment of learning and mutual support. She encouraged education and self-reliance, urging others to believe in their worth and capabilities. Through her example, many found the courage to pursue their own dreams despite the obstacles they faced. Her success also brought a renewed sense of pride to Irako. The town, once overshadowed by neighboring cities, began to flourish economically and socially. Amina's enterprise created jobs and opportunities, drawing traders and visitors from afar. The market days grew livelier, and the spirit of community strengthened. Elders spoke of the change with gratitude, recognizing how one woman's determination had sparked a ripple effect that uplifted many. Amina herself blossomed in this environment of growth. The trials that had once threatened to break her now seemed like distant memories, replaced by the confidence of a woman who had reclaimed her destiny. She carried herself with grace and wisdom, her eyes reflecting the journey from pain to empowerment. The girl who had once walked the market square with dreams unfulfilled had become a leader whose light shone brightly. Her relationship with the community deepened as she balanced her expanding responsibilities with genuine care for those around her. She listened to the concerns of her employees, mediated disputes, and celebrated their successes. The bonds she forged were not merely transactional but rooted in trust and shared vision. This sense of belonging and purpose fueled her drive to continue growing and uplifting others. Despite the demands of her enterprise, Amina remained humble and connected to her roots. She often visited her mother, Mama Saad, sharing stories of progress and seeking counsel. Mama Saada's unwavering support had been a steady anchor throughout Amina's journey, and their bond grew stronger with each passing year. Together, they dreamed of a future where more women could break free from the chains of hardship and build lives of their own making. As Amina's reputation expanded, so did the challenges she faced. Managing a growing business required navigating complex negotiations, overcoming skepticism from some community members, and balancing the expectations of those who relied on her leadership. Yet, she met each challenge with the same resilience that had carried her through the darkest days. Her ability to adapt and persevere became a hallmark of her success. The women she employed flourished under her mentorship. Many who had once struggled with poverty and social stigma now walked with heads held high, empowered by the skills and confidence they gained. Some began their own small ventures, inspired by Amina's example, further strengthening the economic fabric of Irako. The ripple effect of her empowerment spread beyond her immediate circle, touching lives in unexpected ways. Amina's journey was no longer solitary. She had built a community of support and shared purpose, where collective success was celebrated. The marketplace was alive with stories of triumph and transformation, each one a testament to the power of resilience and determination. Where once there was heartbreak and betrayal, there now stood a beacon of hope and possibility. In moments of quiet reflection, Amina would often think back to the day Kalu had turned away from her. The pain of that betrayal had been a harsh but necessary teacher. It had forced her to look within, to find strength she never knew she possessed. That strength had carried her through trials and led her to build a life far richer than she had ever imagined. Amina understood that her journey was part of something larger, a movement toward empowerment and change that extended beyond her own story. She felt a deep responsibility to nurture this movement, to ensure that other women like her could find their voices and their power. Her work was not just about business. It was about changing the narrative for those who had been silenced and sidelined. As the sun set over Irako, casting a warm glow over the bustling market and fertile fields, Amina stood surrounded by the community she had helped to build. The air was filled with the sounds of laughter and conversation, the vibrant energy of a town transformed. In that moment, she knew that the seeds she had planted, both literal and metaphorical, were flourishing. Her journey from heartbreak to empowerment was a living testament to the strength of the human spirit. Through hard work, compassion, and unwavering determination, Amina had not only rebuilt her life, but had also ignited a flame of hope that would continue to burn brightly for generations to come. The woman who once faced betrayal and abandonment had become a leader, a mentor, and a symbol of what was possible when one refused to be defined by adversity. Kalu's return to Irako was unexpected, stirring whispers throughout the town like a sudden gust of wind. Word of Amina's success had traveled far beyond the market stalls and dusty roads she had once walked alone. Stories of her thriving enterprise, her growing influence, and the community she had nurtured reached his ears, unsettling the man who had once believed he had cast her aside without consequence. When Kalu arrived, dressed in fine garments and bearing the air of a man accustomed to wealth, He expected to find a town still waiting for him to reclaim his place. He imagined Amina as the broken woman he had left behind, vulnerable and longing for reconciliation. But instead, he was met with a reality that shattered his assumptions and bruised his ego. Irako had changed. The marketplace buzzed with energy, vibrant colors, and laughter. Traders greeted Amina with respect and warmth, their eyes reflecting admiration rather than pity. The women who worked alongside her carried themselves with newfound confidence, their smiles radiant with the pride of independence. Amina stood at the center of it all, her posture poised and her gaze steady, embodying the strength that had grown in Kalu's absence. As he approached her, Kalu's heart pounded with a mixture of hope and dread. "Amina," he began, his voice tentative, "I have heard much about your success. I want to make amends. Please forgive me and let us try again." But Amina's eyes, once filled with tenderness for the man she loved, now held a calm resolve. She didn't recoil from his presence, nor did she offer the warmth he sought. Instead, she spoke with a clarity born of experience and self-awareness. "Kalu, the life we dreamed of was shattered the day you chose wealth over love. I have built my future on my own strength, not on the shadows of the past." Her words were neither bitter nor cruel. They were simply the truth. The years of hardship had taught her that forgiveness did not mean forgetting, and healing did not mean returning to what was broken. She had found a power within herself that no apology could revoke. The townspeople who had gathered around watched the exchange with a mixture of sympathy and admiration. Many had witnessed Kalu's departure and the pain it caused Amina. Now, seeing her stand tall and unshaken, they felt a surge of pride for the woman who had transformed her sorrow into triumph. Kalu's face flushed with shame as he realized the depth of the mistake he had made. The wealth and status he had sought came at a cost far greater than he had imagined. Amina's success was not a mere coincidence or luck. It was the result of relentless effort, resilience, and an unbreakable spirit. "I have nothing to offer you now," Kalu admitted quietly. "No wealth, no promises. Only regret." His voice trembled with the weight of his confession. Amina nodded, acknowledging his words but standing firm in her decision. "Your absence taught me who I am. I will not allow the past to define me, or to limit what I can achieve. My journey is mine alone." The encounter marked a turning point, not just for Kalu and Amina, but for the entire community. It was a testament to the power of transformation, and the courage it took to embrace change. Kalu's return and his confrontation with reality underscored the truth that success born of self-reliance and perseverance could not be undone by past betrayals. In the days that followed, Kalu found himself on the fringes of the community he once belonged to, a man humbled by his own choices. The respect and admiration he had once taken for granted now belonged to Amina, whose leadership and compassion had earned her a place in the hearts of many. Amina, meanwhile, continued to nurture her enterprise and the community she had built. She used her influence to mentor others, sharing the lessons she had learned and inspiring those who faced their own struggles. Her story became a beacon of hope, a reminder that true strength comes not from wealth or status, but from the courage to rise above adversity. The marketplace of Irako thrived, alive with the spirit of resilience and renewal. Amina's name was spoken with reverence, her journey a living testament to the power of determination and the unyielding human spirit. And as she moved forward, she carried with her the wisdom that the past, though painful, was but a chapter in a larger story, one she was still writing with every step she took. Kalu's plea for forgiveness hung in the air, fragile and uncertain, as Amina listened with a calm born of hard-won wisdom. The man who had once been her companion, her hope for a shared future, now stood before her humbled and seeking a second chance. Yet, Amina's journey had shaped her into a woman who no longer clung to the past, but embraced the strength she had forged through adversity. She looked into Kalu's eyes and spoke with a quiet authority that left no room for misunderstanding. "Kalu, the years of pain and struggle were mine to bear alone. Your absence was the catalyst for my growth, the fire that tempered my resolve. I am not the same girl who waited for you. I am a woman who has built her life through her own strength and perseverance." Her voice was steady, each word a declaration of independence and self-respect. She was not angry, she was clear. The wounds inflicted by betrayal had healed into lessons, and those lessons had become the foundation of her success. To ask her to erase that journey and return to a past filled with broken promises was to ask her to deny her own worth. Kalu's face fell, the weight of her refusal settling heavily upon him. "I see now what I failed to understand before," he admitted softly. "Your achievements are not because of me but in spite of me. I was blinded by greed and short-sightedness." Amina nodded, acknowledging his honesty but standing firm in her decision. "It is not just about forgiveness, Kalu. It is about recognizing that I am no longer the person who needed you to complete her story. I have written my own chapters, and they do not include the pain you caused." The community that had gathered nearby watched the exchange with a mixture of respect and relief. They had witnessed Amina's transformation from a vulnerable girl to a formidable woman, and now they saw her claim her agency with dignity. Her refusal was not a rejection born of bitterness, but a testament to her self-worth. Kalu, humbled and chastened, took a step back, realizing that the woman before him had transcended the shadow of his betrayal. His plea for a second chance was met not with open arms, but with a steadfast resolve that left him no choice but to accept the consequences of his actions. In the days that followed, Kalu found himself reflecting deeply on the path he had taken. The wealth and status he had sought came with an emptiness he had not anticipated. The admiration he had once craved was now eclipsed by the respect Amina commanded through her integrity and hard work. Amina, meanwhile, continued to build on the foundation she had laid. Her business flourished, and her role as a mentor and leader in Irako expanded. She held workshops for local women, teaching them skills in trade, agriculture, and self-management. Her story became a source of inspiration, a living example of what could be achieved through resilience and determination. She also made time for reflection, understanding that her strength was not only in her independence, but also in her capacity for compassion. Though she had closed the door on her past with Kalu, she did not harbor hatred. Instead, she used her experience to guide others away from the pitfalls she had encountered. The marketplace of Irako thrived under her influence. Traders and farmers alike found new opportunities, and the community's spirit was renewed. Amina's leadership fostered a sense of unity and empowerment that transcended individual success. Kalu's attempts to re-enter the community's fold were met with polite distance. He was a reminder of the past, a cautionary tale of choices made in pursuit of wealth at the expense of love and loyalty. Yet, even in his isolation, there was a recognition of Amina's triumph, not just over him but over the circumstances that had threatened to define her. Amina's journey was far from over, but her chapter with Kalu had come to a close. She had proven that forgiveness did not require reconciliation, and that true strength lay in knowing one's worth and refusing to settle for less. Her story continued to inspire those around her, a beacon of hope and a call to embrace one's own power in the face of adversity. As the sun set over Irako, casting long shadows over the bustling market and fertile fields, Amina stood tall, her heart filled with the quiet joy of a woman who had reclaimed her destiny. The lessons of the past had shaped her, but they no longer held her captive. Instead, they propelled her forward, toward a future she would create with unwavering resolve and boundless hope. The community of Irako embraced Amina not merely as a successful businesswoman, but as a symbol of resilience and empowerment. Her story had woven itself into the fabric of the town's collective memory, inspiring many to believe that adversity could be overcome with determination and integrity. The respect she commanded was evident in every corner of the marketplace, where traders and villagers alike sought her counsel and celebrated her achievements. Kalu, once the center of his own world, found himself increasingly isolated. His attempts to regain a foothold in Irako were met with polite but firm distance. The wealth he had acquired did little to soften the sting of rejection from those who now looked to Amina as a leader and a beacon of hope. His presence was a reminder of a past many wished to move beyond, and though he lingered at the edges, he could not dismantle the foundation Amina had built. Amina, aware of the delicate balance between forgiveness and self-preservation, chose to focus on the community rather than the man who had once betrayed her. She understood that vindication did not come from revenge or reconciliation, but from the strength to rise and lead with grace. Her actions and demeanor set an example for others who had faced similar betrayals and hardships, showing that dignity and perseverance were the truest forms of triumph. Her influence extended beyond economic success. Amina championed education and skill building, organizing workshops and mentoring programs for young women and men alike. She believed that empowerment came through knowledge and opportunity, and she was determined to create pathways for others to follow. These initiatives fostered a spirit of collaboration and mutual support, transforming Irako into a community where dreams could be nurtured and realized. The women employed by Amina flourished, many starting their own small businesses or pursuing further education. Their stories echoed the transformation that had become synonymous with Amina's name. The marketplace buzzed with renewed energy, a testament to the ripple effect of her leadership. Where once there was despair, now there was hope, ambition, and a shared commitment to progress. Amina's personal growth was mirrored in the town's evolution. She navigated the complexities of leadership with humility and wisdom, listening to diverse voices and addressing challenges with a steady hand. Her vision extended beyond profit. It encompassed the well-being and empowerment of the entire community. This holistic approach earned her deep respect and unwavering loyalty. Kalu's isolation was a stark contrast to the vibrant community flourishing under Amina's guidance. He grappled with his own regrets, understanding too late that wealth without respect and connection was hollow. The lessons he had failed to learn in youth became painfully clear as he watched the woman he once discarded become the very foundation of Irako's renewal. Despite the distance between them, Amina bore no ill will. Her forgiveness was quiet and resolute, a gift she gave herself rather than Kalu. She chose to channel her energy into building a legacy that transcended personal grievances, one that would uplift generations to come. Her story became a testament to the power of resilience, integrity, and the capacity to turn pain into purpose. The marketplace, alive with the hum of commerce and community, stood as a living monument to what could be achieved when one refused to be defined by betrayal. Amina's journey inspired countless others to rise above their circumstances, reminding them that dignity and strength were born not from circumstance, but from the choices one made in response. As seasons passed, Irako continued to thrive, its spirit renewed by the collective efforts sparked by Amina's leadership. The town's transformation was a beacon to neighboring communities, illustrating how empowerment and unity could foster sustainable growth and social change. In quiet moments, Amina reflected on the path that had led her here, the heartbreak, the struggle, and the triumph. She recognized that her story was part of a larger narrative about the resilience of the human spirit and the importance of lifting others as one rises. Her journey was a beacon, illuminating the way for those still searching for their own strength. With every step forward, Amina reaffirmed her commitment to the community that had embraced her and to the values that had guided her through the darkest times. Her legacy was not only in the wealth she had created but in the lives she had touched and the hope she had sparked. In the heart of Irako, amid the vibrant market stalls and fertile fields, Amina stood as a living testament to the power of perseverance, compassion, and leadership. Her story was far from over, but the foundation she had built was unshakable, a legacy of empowerment that would endure well beyond her years. Amina's journey from the depths of betrayal to the heights of empowerment had become a beacon of hope, not only for the people of Irako but for all who heard her story. Her life was a testament to the enduring power of perseverance and self-reliance, a vivid illustration that one's past does not dictate one's future. The lessons she learned and the strength she cultivated resonated deeply, inspiring a transformation that went far beyond personal success. Throughout her struggles, Amina discovered that true wealth was not measured by material possessions, but by the strength of character, integrity, and the impact one leaves on others. The riches she had gained were not just the harvest from her lands or the profits from her goods. They were the respect, trust, and love she had earned from her community. These intangible treasures became the foundation of a legacy that would endure. Her story encouraged others, especially women, to rise above their circumstances. Many who had once felt powerless found in Amina a role model who embodied resilience and hope. She showed them that hardship, while painful, did not have to define their lives. Instead, it could be a crucible that forged courage and determination. Through her mentorship and example, countless lives were touched, and new paths were carved in the fabric of the community. Amina's foundation for empowerment grew steadily, offering support to girls and women who faced challenges similar to those she had overcome. She provided education, vocational training, and resources, creating a safe space where dreams could take root and flourish. This initiative became a lifeline for many, a place where potential was nurtured and voices were amplified. Her work extended beyond the boundaries of Irako, inspiring neighboring towns and sparking conversations about resilience and empowerment across the region. Amina became a sought-after speaker and mentor, her message clear and compelling. Every fall is a lesson, every betrayal a test, and every challenge an opportunity to rise stronger. Despite the recognition and accolades, Amina remained grounded. She never forgot the pain that had set her on this path, nor the people who had supported her along the way. Her humility and compassion endeared her to many, making her not just a leader but a beloved figure, a mother to the community she had helped rebuild. In quiet moments, Amina reflected on the journey that had brought her here. The memory of Kalu's betrayal, once a source of profound sorrow, had become a distant echo, an event that had tested her spirit and ultimately revealed its depth. She understood that forgiveness was not about excusing the past, but about freeing oneself to embrace the future fully and without fear. Her strength lay in her ability to transform pain into purpose, bitterness into benevolence, and despair into determination. Amina's story was a powerful reminder that while life's trials are inevitable, how one responds to them defines the course of one's existence. The town of Irako thrived as a testament to this truth. Its markets buzzed with energy, its fields yielded abundance, and its people walked with pride. The community, once fragmented by hardship and loss, stood united, stronger and more vibrant than ever before. Amina's legacy was not merely in the businesses she built or the wealth she amassed but in the spirit she ignited within others. She had shown that empowerment was contagious, that one person's courage could ripple outward, touching countless lives. Her journey was a beacon, illuminating the path for those still navigating their own storms. As the sun set over Irako, casting a warm glow over the bustling market and fertile fields, Amina stood at the threshold of a new chapter. Her story was far from over, but the foundation she had laid was unshakable. It was a story of resilience, truth, and redemption, a living testament to the power of the human spirit to rise, rebuild, and inspire. In the end, Amina's life taught a profound moral: that pain does not define us, but rather how we respond to it. That betrayal, while deeply wounding, can become a catalyst for growth and transformation. And that every fall, every hardship, is an opportunity to learn, to heal, and to emerge stronger than before. Her journey was a call to all who faced adversity, to rise above it, to build their own futures, and to remember that within each of us lies the strength to overcome. Amina's story, etched in the hearts of those she touched, would continue to inspire generations, a shining example that hope and resilience can triumph over even the darkest of trials. If you loved the story, like the video and subscribe.